Lone Wolf Customs once again with the wrecker. It's more of a boom. I know it don't look like I've done much, but I built the pins over there too. See them. That's pretty much as high up as it goes right there, unless I do some trim work down here, which is fine because you figure with the end it comes out. Yeah, it's pretty high. I could pick up a cab with that. But she's got a ratchet strap and come along thing just to kind of lift it up so I don't walk into it and hit my head. I done some research, and you know, the Ford parts that I use, this rear end, the springs, those pieces there, you know, the little end piece, the cross piece here, cross member, a few cross members, stuff like that, come off that Ford frame. I think I figured out exactly what it was. You know, because the guy I got it from didn't tell me any real information. You know, he just told me that it was a, 72 Ford. Well, I done some research and looking at a few parts it's on it, and the way the frame's fairly flat and everything else. And I think I figured out what it was. So, it's an F350, but it looks something like this. So that's kind of what I'm thinking it was. It was a camper. It was, an RV. With the research I've done, that's probably a good circumstance to believe that that was what it was, which means these leaf springs are RV springs, which may or may not mean that it'll handle the weight better. But, it is what it is. And it also might be the reason why this thing don't really fit underneath this truck as easy, because it might actually be shorter than the regular truck. I ain't sure. I don't know a lot about Fords. That is interesting, because that was an F350, but as a camper. So it's interesting. Now, if I was more into Fords, then I probably would have, just took that, stripped off all the house stuff, and probably ended up building me a little ramp truck out of it. But since I'm not into Ford, and also that the cab was missing, and I'd have to find a 72 cab and all that wonderfulness. Yeah, it is what it is. But those parts are good and thick and should do a good job for what I'm doing with it. So, but yeah, those pins I think will work pretty good. They're sleeved. There's a tube welded in this part between the boxing. There's a tube welded in that between the boxing. And then there's that pin shoved all the way through with the washer and a key, the little clip lock, because I want to be able to remove them if I needed to. Plus this side, is a washer welded in so it can't slide out. And even if the washer could break loose from the weld, which I doubt it could, the weld is built up enough that the washer wouldn't be able to come back off. So other than the size of the pins is the only question mark, and if that becomes an issue, well, I guess I'll just have to go through the headache of freaking rebuilding pins, but I don't think they're going anywhere. You know, they're fairly strong. You know, it's high carbon shit, so. But haven't done nothing with the motor yet. You know, we got it down here in the last video. And, you know, haven't done that. I was actually fixing to screw with it a little bit today. Brandy wrecked the freaking Ram Charger yesterday, which is a while back for when y'all see this video, but so I'm having to work on it too today. Make sure it's sound for her to drive back and forth to work. But pins are in, and now I can start actually making the boom go in and do all the things it should do. So I found the metal. Now I just have to get back in touch with me over how much they're wanting for the shit, because it's definitely not some wimpy shit. It's pretty thick. Honestly, one of the square tubes, it's 4x4 square tube, is probably the thickness of that, which would probably be plenty. One of them is probably 1/4 inch. The one that slides in and out's the one that's 1/4 inch. So it's probably overkill, but it's what I can find. The one it's the thickness of the rail here is probably, I think it's 5x5 or something like close to that. The piece that will be sliding in and out, it's like a 4x4, but it's a way thicker. It's close to 1/4 inch. So lots of weight. And hopefully I can end up with that, but if not, so be it. The gas tank situation, well, at this point, I might end up having to try to find everything to put a cab tank in the 78 cab, which would be nice because, you know, it leaves both sides then open for toolboxes. But, you know, it does take up a little bit of the cab space, which the way all my other trucks are has got the gas tank in the cab. So it's just a matter of finding that stuff if I could find it, or going with a side tank, or half a dozen other thoughts, because everything's organic. You know, if one thing don't play right, then, well, I'll try something else and keep trying something else and working with what I can do and can't do and materials I can find until I have something built. But thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah, you know. And God bless and all that. Bye.